Hey folks, Shep here, Kilo 4, Oscar Kilo India. Today was Wspr testing day. We're going to go ahead and close out this antenna review of the NFED 10 through 40 NFED antennas that we've been playing with the last few days. SWR results were already posted. My personal opinion on the build quality of the antennas in question. And today it was, hey, get them on the air and see how they perform. So before we talk about those results, I do want to throw out a big thank you to my buddy Ryan. November Charlie 4 Radio Alpha for allowing me to use his QRP Labs QCX mini transceiver. What I like about this little gadget right here is hook the antenna up, hook the power supply up, get it transmitting in the Wspr mode, and then take your computer, go to the Wspr website, and see your data. Simple, minimal, not a lot of extra wires, not a lot another program I got to run. Just it's the easiest thing in the world to use. So we went ahead and got that thing set up today, and we tested out 4 different antennas. We tested my personally built 10 through 40 NFED half wave, which is 65 foot long. We tested the Nelson 65 foot NFED. We tested the KO4 FSZ, Chris's 65 foot NFED, and then we also compared the 65 foot spark plug 100 watt version NFED half wave as well. And the data's in. So instead of talking about this any further, let's just go to the data. Let's look at the maps. You're going to be quite surprised. All right, so this is my personal homebrew 10 through 40 NFED. You'll see that the Wspr test date was run today, and these are the stations that I was capable of transmitting to. Next is the Nelson. Nelson severely outperformed my antenna. So here is pretty much everything east of the Mississippi. That's what we got into as far as DX wise. And then it heard 3 more stations west that my antenna was not heard on. We both got that Edmonton station there, but the Nelson definitely outperformed my personal homebrew antenna. Now, here's the spark plug. Spark plug antenna did not do nearly as well as the previous 2 antennas that were compared. And then, in my opinion, today's winner. The KO4 Foxtrot Sierra Zulu. That antenna did really well today. In fact, I don't even have all of the European contacts that were made from his 65 foot antenna. Got 2 stations down in the Canary Islands where the Nelson only had 1. So, data's in, the maps are in. You can look at them all you want. Proof is in the pudding, it doesn't lie. Chris's antenna definitely blew my antenna out of the water. I think it outperformed the Nelson. There are a couple of major differences, though, that we need to talk about. I am not going to say don't buy the Nelson antenna. Buy the Nelson antenna all day long. It's a great antenna. The main reasons what I like about the Nelson that I would put over Chris's antenna is the Nelson antenna has a solid core radiating element. It's solid copper. In my opinion, I think that's going to last longer, be a better setup for permanent use, say at your home. Where Chris runs a copper clad wire, 20 gauge wire, that is a lot easier and much more friendly to go ahead and wrap up, coil up, and reuse, redeploy, take down, put back up. I think that the longevity with Chris's for field and portable use would probably be a little bit easier to work with than a Nelson, just because of that radiating element. The other difference that Chris's antenna has over mine is I'm working with 26 gauge stealth wire, where Chris was working with the 20. So the only difference in those 3 antennas are going to be the type of wire used. So it's the Nelson I buy all day long off eBay and use with no issues at all. Chris's antenna, buy all day long, use, especially for field use, portable use, parks on the air, summits on the air, if you can get 65 foot of wire up in the air, and if it meets your needs. Now, we saw what the spark plug antenna did, and a lot of people just looking off of the eye test are going to be really turned off by that. Don't be. There's a reason why I would put the spark plug in my rack, in my bag, to take out to work in parks on the air before I would take Chris's, before I would take my own, or before I take the Nelson's. The spark plug has a small footprint, and you saw how many Wspr stations the spark plug made contact with. It even made 1DX contact. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that antenna. The nice thing about that antenna, compact, small, ultra portable. I can get that thing into a carry-on. I can fly with it. Absolutely nothing wrong. I'm not saying anything negative about that antenna at all. Was it outperformed today on the Wspr test? Yes, it was. But you've got to look at the difference. You're talking about a matching box that would be, say, 3 inches by 2.5 inches between the Nelson and Chris's antenna, the KO4 FSZ antenna, and my homebrew. The transformer on that spark plug antenna is literally like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. So there is going to be some compromise there. So is it something I'm not going to want to take and not going to want to use? Absolutely, I'm going to want to take it. I'm going to want to use it all day long. I've used it multiple times. It will continue to stay in my kit, and I will continue to use it. It's just, it was outperformed on the Wspr testing. So again, I'm going to back up. I'm going to say some things that I've already said just so everybody hears them a second time from me. I'm not saying not to go out there and buy any of these or not to go out there and use any of these. They all get 2 thumbs up approval from me. However, KO4 FSZ antenna definitely outperformed the other antennas today. The other thing is, if I'm going to use something at my home for long-term permanent installation or permanent until it breaks, I'm going to go with the Nelson. If I'm going to take something into the field and small packaging, limited space is not my issue, I'm going to take Chris's antenna with me. Here is where I would love to see both the Nelson and Chris kind of step up their game. And it's a very simple piece of equipment that I think they can put into their antenna builds and make the longevity of their radiating element last a lot longer. And it's a simple thimble, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, in this photo here, you'll see the red circle around this piece of U-shaped or backwards C metal. That is a thimble. And if they were to incorporate a thimble on their wire, that would allow them some extra strain relief for the radiating element that's at that matching box, if you will. I think that the longevity of their radiating wire would last a lot longer. So with that being said, in conclusion, again, I'm not going to say anything negative about any of the antennas. I will say Chris's antenna definitely outperformed everything in the Wspr test. The Wspr tests were run for 2 minutes, and there was an 8-minute break. And that 8-minute break, that allowed me to break down one antenna, get another antenna up. I know there's going to be a little bit of propagation differences in 8 minutes, but that's the best I can do. I'm a one-man show. I don't have the opportunity of getting 4 NFEDs up in the air at the same time, where all I got to do is change coax and then increase my transmit time, or I should say decrease the amount of time between my transmit time. It's pretty much the best I can do, folks. Any questions, comments, concerns? I'm open to them. Let's talk about it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the other testing that I've done with the videos. And with that, I'll simply say, ham fun, y'all. I hope to see you on the radio in 73. Kilo 4, Oscar, Kilo India.